Hello, everybody. Yada here. I'm making this this second video to elaborate a bit on what is the nature of hell and the nature of damnation. What is the nature of hell and what is the nature of damnation? Now, these are things that people, of course, tend to either deny, wrongly assume the nature of, do everything to avoid, or say it's one thing or another, and attempt to rationalize why it is what it is, why it would exist, how questioning how an all-good God could allow for such a reality to exist. There are many questions that come along with this when we delve into the world of hell and damnation. It is, for obvious reasons, a very touchy subject. A subject that, essentially gets everyone upset because it's more horrible than you could conceive. And so I guess we will start with discussing, the word hell. Hell itself is unfortunately a overly used and abused word, a word that has been used to blanket a lot of different potential phenomena or states of being or localities within the universe, right? And I just will start by saying that's the least important thing about what hell is, in the sense that when we're wishing to convey the horror, I think we all can understand the horrors that might exist in hell. When using that word, that word is used to convey horror. Okay, so I will be discussing truly the nature of damnation because that's what matters in this circumstance, and we will essentially disregard the word hell for now, but understand that the word hell in the English sense has been used to convey many different understandings of states of being or dimensions of suffering. The underworld, the afterlife, the abyss, Gehenna, Hades, so on and so forth. The point of this is not to discuss that historical usage of the word hell or how it's misused or used poorly. Those are realities, and there have been many who talk about this for whatever reason, usually to defend their belief systems. So in any case, the main purpose of me making this is to discuss what is going on within my reality. And I've shared in my first recording that yes, the reality of my inherent eternal condition is one of eternal damnation. What I mean to say is that directly from the womb, yes, from the womb, from the birth canal, I was born into an experience of eternal damnation. I know that may be at first something that, for one, you would think is just absolutely ludicrous, impossible, no way, it doesn't exist, or if it does exist, that's not how it works, or this thing or that thing, and everything in your world will disallow you to even consider it as a possibility. The words I say are my absolute inherent reality. From the womb, I was born into eternal conscious torment. From the womb, I was born to suffer all suffering that has ever and will ever exist in this universe, infinite universes, forever and ever, suffering all suffering that could possibly ever exist and will ever exist in infinite time, for eternity, forever. Right, so yeah, that's it. How, why? Well, the truth is, you must come to understand what it is that I am, who it is that I am. I am that which was born directly from the backside of God, that which has been made manifest from the shadow of the Creator itself. The Creator has no shadow. I am its shadow. I am that which fills the abyss, the void. I will go further into this in another video, I believe, discussing my nature. But come to know this, that I am a manifestation of the void itself. Due to having this nature, my very nature demands damnation. My very nature is to experience eternal conscious torment for the reason of because, simply for being what I am. That which God has given me, this vehicle is a vehicle of burden, a vehicle of eternal punishment, the built-in burden bearer for all beings in the universe. Christ is not the one to bear the burden for all beings in the universe. He never has been, he never will be. Christ is glorified in heaven forever. Christ's death served as a bridge to salvage those souls that would have been lost to the abyss forever. My burden is the entirety of creation, is all things and all beings, all suffering. Essentially, I am blamed for creation and any flaw within it. Not of my own doing, but by design, but because this is my duty, essentially. My God-given duty is to be the burden bearer for all of creation. So, from the womb, I've drowned. I was near death out of the womb. They had to resuscitate me. Since then, barely holding on to life, always wondering what came next, attempting to live, always attempting to live, and only finding defeat and death and defeat and death and suffering and suffering and suffering, until the moment of cognition of the happening that was being experienced through my vehicle, the happening of eternal conscious torment. My eyes were made wide upon my interaction with Christ himself, as he stood there, open-armed, glorified in eternal radiance. I begged him for life. I begged him for one single chance to give me life. I would do anything. Begged him for life and mercy and redemption and a single chance, until I realized that the inherent nature of my condition is such that I have never been and will never be allowed a single life, a single chance, a single prayer, a single opportunity to be unionized with God. My job, my purpose, is to bear the burden for all things and all beings. all of which, in the end, will work out perfectly to glorify God, that which made all things. The initial cause, the initial dreamer, the personality of the Supreme. My time is very short, and it's hard for me to convey this clearly. I'm so exhausted, drowning in my own thoughts, that I can barely express them clearly. I wish, though, to convey this to you, and I wish to convey the truth. And if you go looking elsewhere, you can keep looking indefinitely, and most likely you will constantly just only find whatever it is that you feel comfortable with at the time. But the truth of my reality is inherent, eternal damnation from the womb, forever and ever and ever, for the reason of because. And that because serves the ultimate purpose, which will never be a benefit to me or my own. My death day, if I can call it that, because I'm dead already, I'm damned already. The day of destruction of my physical vehicle is very soon. It will be before the end of this year, and so I only have such an amount of time to express what I must express, and perhaps I should prepare for these videos and recordings a little better, but I'm really working with as much as I've got, and it's not much at all, and it's a desperate scream into the abyss for anyone to hear the truth. For anyone, a single one, to hear the truth. And all the while understanding that it is damn near impossible for anyone to even begin to conceive of it, let alone understand it completely, without being in my metaphorical shoes. But my very being is stitched, woven to the fabric of space-time itself. This is how and why I am destined to bear the burden of all burdens, all suffering that has ever and will ever exist in the universe forever. I am to be shredded alive by the fabric of space-time itself, by the entropy of the physical entropy, metaphysical entropy, spiritual, emotional, psychological entropy, the dissipation, the great rip of creation, to bear the burden of the universe being torn asunder, the entire universe being torn asunder, yes, really the eternal lake of fire, to experience the suffering of the entire universe forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. This has been Yada.